Should Severus Snape be considered a good person? In the eyes of many who love the Harry Potter books and movies, Severus Snape is considered generally a good character who did some bad things. But I would like to present to you the real truth. Severus Snape is not a good character. In fact, he's a horrible person who did horrible things. And while he did do a few good things and good choices throughout the series, this does not make him someone worthy of admiration or respect as a character. To begin with, Severus Snape was continually horrible to his students throughout his time teaching at Hogwarts. Severus Snape repeatedly berated Hermione Granger for her love of learning and knowledge. Snape would berate her in front of the entire classroom for wanting to learn and being so eager. This is not something that a good teacher should ever do. If a student loves knowledge, this should be fostered in the classroom and encouraged. But Snape never does this throughout the course of the 7 books. Snape once almost caused his 12-year-old student to kill his beloved pet. When Neville Longbottom messed up on a potion in his class, Snape forced Neville to feed the potion to his pet, knowing that it would most likely kill him. Snape simply sat beside his desk and laughed as his 12-year-old student prepared to kill the thing that he most loved. Snape blatantly favored those in his own house throughout the time at Hogwarts. Snape treated those in Slytherin house far better than those in other houses. He favored them in the classroom and never punished them the way that he punished other students at Hogwarts. Snape frequently and continually makes fun of young girls for their appearance in the classroom. Snape makes fun of Hermione Granger's hair, of Parvati's acne, and of Luna's eyes in front of all their peers in the classroom. This is not something that a teacher should ever comment on a student, especially not an adult male teacher should never comment on the appearance of prepubescent teenage females. But Snape does this several times throughout the book series. Snape repeatedly and frequently berates Harry and treats him horribly in the classroom because of his father's actions. Snape admits that he treats Harry horribly because he's mad at Harry's father. This is not something a teacher should ever do, and you should never blame a child for the actions of their parents. But Snape does, and he openly admits to it in the 6th book and doesn't say he's sorry about it. Neville Longbottom is 13 years old in the 3rd book of Harry Potter. He encounters a boggart in this book, which takes the form of that which the student most fears. When Snape steps up to the boggart, it takes the form of Snape, his teacher, the one who is supposed to respect, protect, and encourage him. But instead, Snape is what Neville fears the most, not the man who tortured his parents to the point of insanity and took them away from him. Instead, Neville fears his professor more than anything else in the world. This is extremely telling of the character of Snape and demonstrates why he is so horrible. Snape is continually a racist throughout the course of the books. He berates and teases Lupin for being a werewolf. He tells him that he believes he's lesser than him because he is a different race. He even tries to get him fired and killed based on the fact that he is a different species than him. Snape uses racist slurs against Lily and other people at Hogwarts as he's a teenager, and even as an adult. Snape agrees with the racist ideals so much that he agrees to join the side of Lord Voldemort in the war. Voldemort believes that those who are pure-blooded wizards are better than those who are half-blooded wizards, so much so that he desires to kill all those that are not full-blooded wizards. Snape agrees with this ideology and joins Voldemort's side in the war. Snape chooses Voldemort's side and serves him as one of the top-leveled officials in Voldemort's army. Snape kills and tortures for Voldemort and never shows any remorse for this. Snape does horrible deeds for Voldemort. When Snape hears of Voldemort's plan to end Lily's life, he quickly changes his mind and decides to protect Lily, the one whom he's loved since he was a child. But it's important to notice that Snape's reasoning for changing sides is not because he recognizes the wrongness of Voldemort's ideals. The only reason Snape decides to change sides is to protect the one he loves, not because he recognizes the evil of Lord Voldemort. And even then, Snape is perfectly willing to let the infant son Harry die along with his father if it means saving Lily. He doesn't try to protect all of them. Lily is the only one that he wants to save because Lily is the one that he's obsessed with. After the death of the Potters, Snape stays on the side of Dumbledore. But this is only because of his obsession with Lily. He wants to honor her memory. Not because, again, he doesn't change sides because he sees the wrongness of Voldemort's ideals. He only changes sides because of his obsession with Lily. So Snape does do some good things throughout the series. He does stay on the side of Dumbledore after the war ends. But this is, again, not because of the wrongness of Voldemort's ideals, but because of some sense of owing something to Dumbledore. Snape does protect Harry throughout the course of his life at Hogwarts. He saves him from death multiple times throughout the series, but he still never treats Harry with kindness. He protects him only because of his love for Lily, not because he thinks Harry is really worth protecting. Snape obeys Dumbledore and kills him for the greater good. But again, Snape only does this because of his obsession for Lily and sense of duty to Voldemort. Snape helps Harry get the sword of Gryffindor, even in front of his own peril, and Snape does serve the Order of the Phoenix for several books. But these good actions should not redeem Snape in our eyes. Snape's motivation for protecting Harry and helping Dumbledore is not because of goodness, but because of his selfish love for Lily and a sense of duty, not his actual conscience or recognition of the evil deeds of Voldemort. Snape's love for Lily is not a good love because he is willing to see those that Lily loves die if it means he can have Lily for himself. This is not a healthy love and not something that should be idolized, though many people do. Doing a few good things does not make someone a good person. Snape never repents or recants from his horrible deeds throughout the course of his book. Even in death, he never says his actions were wrong, and he is never held accountable. So in conclusion, Snape did do good things against the struggle of Voldemort, but his motivations are always selfish. This does not make him a good person, and he is not something that fans of Harry Potter should recognize as good or honorable. Snape was a horrible teacher, friend, mentor, and person. His love for Lily was unhealthy, and his main motivation throughout the course of the series is nothing but selfishness. Thank you.